What's up, guys? It's Rio. Just going to be picking my college football playoff bracket today on CFBspot.com. This is the website that I made, and currently we have 112 brackets submitted, which is awesome. There are prizes, so if you want to go over and make a bracket on CFBspot.com, you can. First place gets any FBS team sweatshirt of your choice. Second place, same thing but for t-shirts, and third place gets a $25 Fanatics gift card. So let's just get into our picks. All right, in the first game, we have Oklahoma against Alabama on Friday night. And as you can see, it is very evenly split amongst the people that have made brackets so far. So for this game, both these teams honestly are super inefficient on offense, super inconsistent. They really just rely heavily on their defense. I mean, Oklahoma's offense ranks last in terms of efficiency in the entire playoff field. Their defense is fourth, which is obviously one of the best. And these two teams met before, where Oklahoma won at Alabama 23-21. But in that game, Alabama outgained them by about 200 yards. And really, turnovers was the name of the game there. Alabama just kept turning the ball over, and Oklahoma was able to capitalize. I think in this game, Alabama will be able to shore that up a little bit. And I just can't see Oklahoma's offense that is this bad being able to penetrate Alabama's defense another time, so I am going to be taking the Crimson Tide. Moving down, we have the noon game on Saturday, which I think will be the best game of the first round. Miami against Texas A&M. Both teams have the same key win of Notre Dame early in the season, about I think it was week 1, week 2 for both of them. And besides that, I mean, Pitt's an okay team, Missouri's an okay team, but they haven't really won against a playoff caliber team. And this game will be at Kyle Field, which is an insanely hard place to play. I do feel bad for A&M because they are playing at noon, which I think takes away from some of that home field advantage. And really, I like Texas A&M a lot. I think Marcel Reed is a sick dual threat quarterback, but this team has just not wowed me in their last 3 games. They're coming in pretty cold. Their last 3 games were against South Carolina, which if you don't remember, they were trailing by 27 at half. They had to come back on honestly not a great team in order to win that game. Then they played Samford, and then they played Texas, where they just kind of fell apart in the second half, and Texas was able to really do anything they wanted. Looking at Miami, I mean, this is a team that's probably just counting their stars that they're here, but I just don't think they're going to let this opportunity pass them by. Their defense is probably one of the best A&M is going to see. This team got extremely lucky with their SEC schedule. They played, I think, 6 of the 7 bottom teams in the SEC. And yeah, Miami lost to Louisville and SMU, but I just don't think A&M is really going to have the answers for Ruben Bain and this defense. And I think Carson Beck and experienced quarterbacks are going to come in here and just really light up that Aggie defense. And it's not even an upset at this point. Most people are taking Miami, and I'm going to join them. All right, moving down to Ole Miss Tulane. Ole Miss, the big story there, obviously, is their head coach is not going to be at this tournament. Their defensive coordinator took over the head coaching position after Lane Kiffin moved over to LSU. And honestly, I hate that for the Rebels because their entire game plan is built on their offense. Looking at their offensive efficiency, they're 7th in the country and 53rd on defense, and that ranks dead last in the entire field. Luckily for them, they drew Tulane, which really no disrespect to Tulane. Jake Retzlaff is a monster, but this is probably the group of 5 team that Ole Miss would want. They beat them 45-10 earlier in the year, and I just don't think Tulane is going to be up to the challenge. Sorry about my running water. I think Ole Miss is going to win. And moving into the last game of the first round, we have James Madison versus Oregon. I would love to see James Madison win this game, but they have not seen a team like Oregon at all this season. Their strength of schedule is 123rd out of, I believe, 136, which, it's one of the worst in the country. The Sun Belt really doesn't have the best competition. They haven't even played against a ranked opponent. And yeah, they let up the second lowest amount of rushing yards per game, and I just don't think it's going to matter at all. I mean, the best team they played was Louisville, who beat them by 14. Their key wins are Old Dominion and Washington State. I mean, Oregon hasn't beat a playoff caliber team in USC and Iowa, but I really don't think James Madison's going to have any answers for Dante Moore and this Oregon team. And if Oregon can get that run game going, it's going to get ugly pretty early. There is a reason why this is the biggest spread in the tournament, and most people agree. Give me Oregon. All right, let's just go top down now. We got Texas Tech, Oregon, which I think it's going to happen, and I am so excited for this game. I think it's going to be the best game of the quarterfinals. A lot of Texas Tech fans think they're getting disrespected. Their defense is number one in defensive efficiency, led by Jake Rodriguez, who probably was snubbed for being a Heisman finalist. And this team, I mean, their only loss came against Arizona State, and that was a game where their quarterback was out. So really, they're kind of an undefeated team when they're at full strength. But their key wins are over BYU twice and Utah, and while they weren't particularly close, this team just hasn't faced any playoff caliber competition. That's really no slight to them. There's nothing that they can really do. But I just think that when they come up against a team like Oregon, they might just not be ready for it. You know, Oregon, it's kind of ridiculous of me to be sitting here and saying, oh, Oregon's played an actual playoff team who beat them by 10 at home in Indiana, but I think it is important to see those games in the regular season, and if you're coming up against a team like Oregon for your first actual big game of the playoffs, it never really goes well. Oregon is insanely balanced, fourth in offensive efficiency, fifth in defensive. Texas Tech, I mean, their offense being 22nd it's not bad by any means, but for a playoff team, you would want that to be a little bit higher. I just think this Oregon team is getting hot at the right time. Key wins over USC and Iowa, those just happened. And they also beat Washington. I think Dante Moore is just a quarterback that's going to get it done. I'm going a little bit against the grain here, but I'm going to take Oregon to get it done over Texas Tech. Basically my first upset of the bracket. Moving down, we have Indiana versus Alabama, and this game really just is a reverse David versus Goliath. You have historically maybe the worst team in college football going up against potentially the best of all time. Yet you would be kind of crazy to be taking Alabama in this case. Indiana is just so efficient. They're so balanced. Alabama, there's too many question marks on their offense. I haven't really seen a weakness in Indiana. Every time people doubt them, they get it done against Oregon. And people are like, they had that close game against Penn State. And they come back and beat Ohio State. I mean, they've answered all the questions. They've proven they're one of the top teams. Alabama hasn't answered those same questions. They have 3 losses. I'm just going to be taking the Hoosiers here. Moving down to Ohio State and Miami, I think there's good reason why Ohio State is considered the favorite to win this thing. Top down, they probably have the best roster. Their offensive weapons, Julian Sand, Jeremiah Smith, and Carnell Tate, are easily the best in the country in that group. Their offensive efficiency 6th, defensive 2nd. There's really just no world where I see Miami coming in and knocking them off. I mean, the only thing I could see is when Ohio State is played against rough defenses like Indiana and Texas, they only scored 24 combined points. And Miami does have a very good defense, but I just think this Miami offense will have really nothing to do against this Ohio State defense. And I think at this point, Ryan Day will probably have figured out the offense a little bit better, maybe be able to get more points against a stellar defense like Miami. I'm not going to really overthink this one. Give me Ohio State. And lastly, we have Georgia against Ole Miss. Not even going to spend too much time here. I think a team that is built around their offense, losing their offensive guru head coach, going up against another one of the favorites to win this thing. Way too many question marks on Ole Miss. Georgia beat them in the regular season, and now they're at full strength, getting hot, having that massive win over Alabama in the SEC championship, coming up against maybe a deflated Ole Miss. Yeah, I can't really see a world in where Ole Miss wins this one. So that takes us to the semifinals. We got 3 Big Ten teams, 1 SEC team. And let's start with a rematch from earlier in the year, Oregon against Indiana. I've seen a lot of people take Oregon in this game, and I get it. Oregon's gotten a lot hotter. Maybe they have fixed up some of the questions they left when they played Indiana. But I don't want to bet against a team that went into Oregon, beat them by 10 and has looked even stronger ever since taking down Ohio State. Also, I am a Indiana homer, so a little bit of bias there, but I mean, Oregon hasn't beaten any playoff teams. Indiana's beaten two. I'm really not going to look into it too much. Could really go either way. Oregon, probably the more talented team. Dante Moore potentially could be the number one pick, but I am going to take Indiana in this one. And it looks like a lot of people agree with me. 55% have them going to the championship, which is pretty insane. But moving down into Ohio State against Georgia, this kind of surprised me. You know, Ohio State is the betting favorite. You would expect most people to be picking them here, but it looks like people are really favoring Georgia in this matchup, 54%. And I think I'm going to join them. I think Ohio State is the most talented team in the sport. I think, yeah, Texas Tech's defense is really good. I would rather have Ohio State's defense, and I think a lot of people agree. I just don't trust this offense enough. When they come up against a great defense, they struggle. There's no way around it. I mean, Julian Sayin, he's a young quarterback, very inexperienced. This is his first year starting. I'm not going to say the lights can get too bright for the guy. He was a Heisman finalist, but I don't trust him. Gunnar Stockton has been here before. Didn't go very well against Notre Dame, but he's been here before. And I just think this Georgia team is the best coach team in the sport. I think their roster is insanely good. And I think Gunnar Stockton is going to answer some of the questions that have been out there about them. They've been on fire. I mean, they beat Alabama by a ton in the SEC championship. Really, it was embarrassing. And I'm going to take Georgia to go to the championship against Indiana, which I'm not really taking many upsets here. That is the favorite on this website, but that gives us a championship of Indiana and Georgia, and I'm torn. This game would be incredible if it happened. The storylines behind Indiana, Fernando Mendoza, all of his flip and champ stuff, going up against Kirby Smart in Georgia, maybe the two best coaches in college football, unless Ryan Day had something to say about it. And who are we kidding? I went to Indiana. I'm not going to not take Indiana in the spot. If your team made it to the finals, would you really be like, oh, Georgia's got a good team, I'm going to take them over my alma mater? No, I'm taking Indiana. But this game is going to be incredible if it gets to this point. Very good chance it doesn't, but I will be taking Indiana as my champion. And then I also set up a tiebreaker for this. My final score, I guess, would be 24-21. I think these defenses are very good. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. But I do think these offenses can get it going a little bit. So that's 45 total points. And there's my bracket. So please head over to cfbspot.com, get your brackets in before kickoff in the Alabama-Oregon game, and you'll be entered into the contest to win the 3 prizes. All I ask is that you use your real email, otherwise I won't be able to reach out to you. And yeah, just check out the website. We still have the Guess the College game, and right now I'm developing another daily college football game, which should be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the playoffs. Got a lot of cool statistics over here that I implemented. So yeah, just head on over to cfbspot.com, get your brackets in, and I'll see you guys during the playoffs.